Welcome to Cloud Computing Essentials. In today's world, we know it that the cloud computing provides you with flexible IT resources over the internet. It helps you to reduce your cost, enhance your collaboration, and enable rapid deployment of your applications so that your go to market timing is much more reduced. Knowing cloud computing is very much essential for you to efficiently manage and utilize your digital resources, be up to date, stay competitive in this technology driven world itself. Know your competition, your industry is better. It helps you to reduce your infrastructure cost and helps you to innovate faster because many of the applications or services are already available in cloud, which you can use it at a click of a button itself. And for your own benefit, it helps you for your career growth and in this rapidly going field, knowing the terminology, knowing when what to use. And today we are going to discuss it in brief, that when, what to use, what resources, how you're going to use it. So whenever we are talking of cloud computing itself, how it is there, so it is about your applications are running on prem. Okay, so you have got your hardware, you have got your resources, you have got your storage, you have got your networking, everything out over there for run, running your applications. So once you move all your applications and everything, including your hardware, storage, networking to cloud, you will be utilizing the complete of cloud computing itself. So there are various benefits of it. Few of them, that means you don't have to procure new hardware, you don't have to have space blocked for running your hardware in your data centers and everything like that. You can reutilize those spaces, even the manpower required for managing those, you can redeploy it for your own benefit so that you properly utilize all those resources from the cloud itself. So few of the characteristics of cloud computing, one of them being the on-demand self-service. That means you use it whenever you require it and you use it for the time you require it. That means comparing it to the on-prem. So for example, suppose if you require a server for running one of your applications, so you go to your procurement team, you place your order to the OEM, and then you get it. Uh, and then you get it all together out over there. But it generally typically takes anything between 6 to 8 weeks before that server arrives on your premises so that you can use it. Whereas in case of cloud, once you decide that you require the new say server, or you require the new service itself, just you go to open your browser, go to your cloud service providers portal, and you just request for it. And when your request when your work is over for that particular service or server, you can return it back to the cloud service provider. Thereby it helps you to use it when you require it, but you can return it and you don't have to be left with any redundant hardware or anything like that. Same goes for the broad network access also. So you have got a network access across the different regions altogether. For doing that, resource pooling is something like that. You are using the CPU resources, the RAM resources from there, and you are, once your requirement is over, then you are returning it back to the resource pool altogether to be used by somebody else, or you can use it at a later point in time and you pay only for the time that you are using. Rapid elasticity is something around that whenever you require new whenever you are running a new promotion or anything, you require more resources in terms of hardware so that more people are accessing it, you request for that more resources from the resource pool, and whenever you don't require it, you just scale it down. So the rapid elasticity, you can use it. You are measured, all your services and everything are measured on cloud, each and every place, how many CPUs, how many RAM, how much storage, and how much cost you are incurring on on a regular basis. Even you can get those reports daily, so that you can see that how much it is costed, and how much you require to plan as part of your capacity planning. And many of the companies, they want to have their disaster recovery solution in cloud for the simple reason that they are not bounded by their country's borders and everything. Say if you are running your applications in, say, India data center, and you can run your disaster recovery solution, the services and everything in US also, and depending on whatever the services that you use in the remote location, you are charged only for that. So the cloud computing service models that we have, one is the infrastructure as a service. So in infrastructure as a service, all the virtual machine storage and networking, including the operating systems, they are provided by the public cloud itself. So maintaining the version, the security patches and everything, it is the duty of the public cloud, whereas you maintain your database, you maintain your application servers, and you run your code or applications on top of that. So managing anything from database, application server to the code itself, it is the duty of the organization. In platform as a service, even the database and the application servers, they are being given as a service to the organization. So everything from application, database, OS, the development framework completely, it is the duty of the public cloud altogether. So they maintain it, whereas you maintain only your code, you run your code out over there. And the software as a service is basically the complete application is being provided by the cloud provider altogether. One of the biggest examples being the Gmail or the Dropboxes of the world, where you are using the service directly, but you are not allowed to do much configuration changes or anything out over there. So whatever has been provided as the general solution from the cloud provider, that you have to use it. Another typical example of SaaS being the Office 365 or Oracle E-Business Suite, which are available as a SaaS option. There are different cloud deployment models, a mix and match or a direct public cloud. That means all your applications, data and everything is in public cloud, and you are accessing the same using internet and other means itself. Then you have got private cloud. The private cloud are generally for organization mid-sized to big organization, where they prefer not to have their applications in cloud, but they have got their own data centers from where they access those applications. So whatever the services and those things are available in the data center, that is available at the organization wise, it is called as private cloud. Then it can be a hybrid cloud also. That means part of your application is running in public cloud, while whereas your database and other things, they run in the private cloud itself. So it is a kind of hybrid mix, uh, basically for compliance and cost implications. People prefer to have it that way. And then there are the multi-cloud. That means you are running your applications or set of applications on non-public cloud, other set of applications in other public cloud. So, and even in cases of, that means you are running your primary application in, say, AWS, and your disaster recovery solution in Azure. So those kind of scenarios do happen in cases of multi-cloud, which is being preferred by many of the organizations. uh, it can be cost beneficial, it can be policy wise, it can be technology wise. So you can run, for example, running .NET or Microsoft based applications on Microsoft Azure gives you much of the cost and benefit analysis, whereas some of the applications which are technically not feasible to run anywhere, for example, Oracle RAC, real application cluster, that you have to run it only on Oracle cloud itself, or the IBM mainframe solution, which you can run only on the IBM cloud altogether. So the advantages of cloud computing, definitely scalability and flexibility. That means you can scale as per your need, and you can scale down as per your requirement itself, thereby giving you the cost efficiency. You can go for the disaster recovery solution, thereby maintaining your business continuity of your organization itself through the computer applications. You can access it from anywhere, and you get the security and the compliance benefits while running your application in cloud, because cloud do provide you the standard security and compliance requirement, and they do tell you that for that particular country, what are the kind of requirements if you want to run your application from that public cloud altogether. The challenges of cloud computing, definitely, if you are running your applications in cloud, there will be some challenges that will be there which can be addressed easily. The data privacy and security requirements, that means if you are running in cloud, so say for example few of the things, for example GDPR, if you have heard of it, or HIPAA or SOX compliant. So those kind of data privacy and security concerns that you have to take care of it as part of the compliance and the regulatory issues for running those applications in cloud. If you are having cloud native solutions, so there is a chance of having being in vendor locking from the public cloud providers itself. Then you have got the downtime and reliability risk. For example, if you are designing a solution but you are not complying to the entire architecture in terms of high availability and other requirements, so there can be a risk of their application uptime. And moving to cloud is not always cost beneficial, so you have to design and architect your solution accordingly and then think of basically migrating to cloud. So few of the leading cloud service providers you have in today's world: on the Amazon Web Service, the Amazon, Azure, and then you have got Google, Oracle Cloud, Alibaba, IBM Cloud itself, and few of the all of them provide you with the infrastructure as a service. That means you get the basic VM with the OS and everything out over there, all of them. Whereas PaaS services, for example, the DB PaaS or the application PaaS, uh, many of them gives, including Oracle, AWS, Azure, Google itself, even the software as a service. So you run your Oracle ERPs or anything directly from Oracle SaaS, or you run the Office 365 from Microsoft Azure, running from there itself. So basically all of them provides a kind of a mix and match. So you have to do a kind of a technology compatibility analysis before you think of migrating your applications to cloud, which all the services that you are going to use before doing the same. Few of the things, for example, the cloud security best practices that you have to follow: you have to implement a strong access control because it is available in open internet, and you have to encrypt the data also, because even if the data is accessible by some third party, they are not able to decrypt it. You run your regular security audits and monitoring of your applications altogether, even your infrastructure. So whatever the new requirement that comes up from as part of the audit report, you can go and implement it based on your requirement. You can go for the complete backup and recovery planning. You do the compliance with the industry standard, and depending on that, you can take the security best practices for doing the same. So the future trends in cloud computing. So in today's world, we are hearing many things on artificial intelligence and machine learning, as well as the new things on the Gen AI stuff, where your new videos, new text, and those things getting generated out of your old data altogether, and you can maintain that entire infrastructure, entire applications, and everything on cloud itself while doing the same. One of the best example being Gemini being maintained out of Google Cloud itself. And then you have got the edge computing and the IoT, the Internet of Things of the world. So all the data coming to the edge computing device, there you do analysis of the data, and only the filtered data is being pushed to the central servers for doing the analysis, thereby saving on the bandwidth cost as well as the storage cost on the central servers. You have got the quantum computing in the cloud itself. The latest one being the high performance computing, that you run it out over there. And you have also got the serverless computing. That means you don't require any servers or anything, only the services that you use, the lambdas and the similar things from the other public cloud providers itself, which helps you to run only your code from those serverless functions. So that helps you to both reduce your cost as well as be more competitive and be more effective in cloud itself. So thereby we conclude on the cloud computing essentials. Hope you are able to learn something on whatever the basic things on cloud computing, and you can discuss the same in your organization, in your circle altogether. So thank you for watching. Have a nice day.